Hello, this is Reese Baker. I am here in front of the Capitol where there is right now a candlelight vigil for DACA. And I am here with Juan Navarro, who flew in from Oregon to help coordinate the Days of Direct Action, which you may have seen on the news recently, where several DACA recipients and allies have been arrested in the offices of congresspeople and in the rotunda of the building. So let's talk to Juan right now. Ask what's happening right here.
So right now we're doing a vigil for the Dream Act. It's to conclude our days of actions that we had throughout the week.
And so what are the days of action about? What's happening in Congress that makes you guys come here?
It's what makes us come here is to hold our representatives and senators accountable to vote no on a spending resolution that does not include a Dream Act attached to it, or any sort of like bipartisan immigration bill. We have a lot of legislators that have come together and have come close to bipartisan deals, but there's been senators and representatives that have stepped in and derailed that process, which is causing us to go into a kind of like in a more active role. And we're here to make sure that we held each and every single one accountable that's not with us.
And so could I ask, who is your congressperson and who have you spoken to since you got here?
We've spoken to, as United We Dream, we've spoken to many of them, Democrats and Republicans. No one is safe.
And so what is your job with United We Dream?
Well, I'm a volunteer. I'm a volunteer, Honey Badger. So we're just the group of organizers that help organize the actions, and I'm a volunteer. As in, they say, "Hey, Juan, we want you to come and help organize. Can you come and organize?" I'm like, "Tell me, yep, fly out."
Could you explain direct action to my audience and tell them why is direct action important and why you do it, why you take those risks?
It's a lot more pressure for our Congress people, because that way we can have like a sense of it gets to the ask faster instead of like waiting for a meeting, waiting for this, waiting for hopefully they get back to us. We come to them and making sure they hear us well, because they don't often want to meet with us.
And so how does it look right now? Do they seem to be getting ready to put DACA protections in?
We have a lot of successes. We have a lot of people that have turned in publicly have stated they will no for a continued resolution if it doesn't include a Dream Act in it. So our power is building, and it's built strong over the past week.
And how long do you expect to be here, and when do you expect to win?
As long as it takes. Hopefully we get the win tomorrow. Hopefully by tomorrow.
Great. Thank you for speaking to me, Juan, and I hope you have a nice stay and a nice trip back. So let's go look at the rally over here. It looks like there are between 100, 150, 200 people standing in front of the Capitol building. Several of them are wearing orange hats, which means that they were involved, which I believe means that they were involved in direct action over the last few days. So let's go see what's happening over there. So here is a sign. It says 8,300 DACA recipients have a dream. Okay, so let's go talk. Would any of you like to talk about this sign? Great. So could I ask, could I ask, what's this sign about?
So basically we drove 12 hours. We drove 12 hours from Tennessee. We're folks, DACA recipients from Tennessee that came to Washington that want to make a difference. We want to make history, and we came to represent all the 800,000. Because we all have a dream. Everyone has a dream. And us specifically, we came to represent everybody, because we're all united, and at the end of the day it's going to be a dream that will qualify for everybody.
And so could I ask, when were you received on DACA?
Yes, I have DACA.
And so how was the process of getting DACA? Was it difficult? Did it take a long time?
So the process of getting DACA, it did kind of take a long time, because they asked for specific documentation, and like history, a lot of history that you've been here for a specific amount of time. So it did take a couple of months to be able to organize everything, but getting all that together, then being able to find a lawyer, getting the money together. It was all kind of a big struggle. Not a lot of people had that opportunity, but I did, and I was able to get my DACA, and I was able to renew my DACA in that one month time period that the president gave out. So I was one of the lucky ones, you could say, that was able to renew DACA, and well, now I'm here fighting to keep it, not just for me, but for those that have gotten it taken away and those that will be getting it taken away.
So you came in from Tennessee. Could I ask, who did you come here with?
So we came with a group called Turk. It's an organization in Nashville, Tennessee. We came from folks all around Murfreesboro, Nashville, and Franklin. Those are cities in Middle Tennessee. And we all just came for the same purpose, you know. We all have DACA, and it affects us some way, somehow. And we just came to defend it and to all come united as one.
And so have you engaged in direct action in the last 2 days?
Actually, we just got here yesterday, but today we were able to do sit-ins at offices. Corker's, our representative Corker, we, at the end of the day, we got no answer from him, which I find that very disrespectful, that almost 20 of his DACA recipients from his district came just to find an answer from him, and he was so disrespectful that he didn't want to see us. His staff members, they didn't take it the right way that we were there, but we were there for a purpose, and we think that our purpose was given out. They understood our purpose, and we want him to understand that the same way that Alexander was able to agree that I will not pass a bill if it does not have a DREAM Act, he should do the same thing, and that the same way that Alexander is being a dream hero, he should be one and not a dream killer.
Could you look into the camera and send a message directly to him? You can speak directly to him.
Okay. Bob Corker. It's a lot of us. A lot of good people, good students here in Tennessee. A lot that are hard workers. We work our butts off at school. And after school, we have to go to work. So I demand you, don't be a dream killer and be a dream hero, because at the end of the day, it's going to be benefiting you. It's going to be benefit a lot of Tennesseans, and it'll just be great for us because we'll have an opportunity to go to college, to accomplish our dreams. The same dream you accomplished. The same dream you accomplished of being where you're at right now, and now after so many years you're retiring. We want to be able to have the same right you had. Yes, you start from the bottom, but then you go to the top, and we want to go through the same hard work that you went through.
Okay. And so could you tell me what are you studying? What are your aspirations with that? And what's your job on the side?
Well, I usually at school, ever since I was little, I've always wanted to become a homicide detective, and it's been a dream of mine since I was so little. And I've seen my parents, and I've told them, and they were like, "Yes, you can accomplish it." You know, but I have to accomplish it with DACA, because with DACA, I can't. With DACA, I won't be able to go to college. And now, at the moment, I don't have a job. But for a few months, I did have a job. And it was getting out of school and going directly to work until 10, 11 at night. Then finding some time to do homework, going to sleep at 1, 2 in the morning, then waking back up at 6 in the morning to go to school. And it was the same thing throughout the whole week for a good time period. And then for a moment, I had to quit my job, but I'm still looking for a job, and I'm still willing to put in that hard work, and I will no matter what. If they put the temporary bill, then they have to give us an answer. You know, they have to pass the DREAM Act. They have to pass the DREAM Act with the bill, because it'll benefit the United States and it'll benefit us.
And so could you tell me how you felt? Could you tell me how you felt while you were engaging in direct action? What did that feel like? What did other people talk about while you were in direct action? And are you happy with how it went?
We did today, at the actions we did today, I felt very empowered. Being able to make one of the staff members of the representative feeling intimidated by youth. They felt intimidated to the point where they did not know an answer to a question that we asked. We would ask them a question, and they would go off just answering something else. not even answering the questions. We're like, that's not what we asked you. We asked you, will that specific person give us an answer, yes or no, that they will vote for a Dream Act or not? And they were like, well, I'm sorry, well, I can't decide. That's not an answer. No, we're done with sorries. It's time to take action. It's time to take action.
So how do listeners who support your cause, how can they help you right now to get Congress to pass a spending bill with DACA in it?
Call representatives. Just blow their phones up, email them, text them. It's honestly like the best kind of way that they could help us with right now, because their voices are being heard. Our voices are being heard. The representatives out there, the senators out there are listening to everybody. But sometimes we do need allies to help us out with that one little call, that one little less than 5-minute call. Well, it'll always make a difference.
Can you tell me about the organization who you're here with?
Okay. Well, I come with Turk. I come with Turk, and it's a nonprofit organization in Nashville, like I said. And they try to help immigrant communities. Any problem that women would have, any refugees, immigrants, DACA youth, they try to help any way possible, and they try to organize and try to help us with trips like this to come here to support our dreams and our goals.
And how did you get connected to that organization?
I've been connected with this organization since I was about 13 years old. I had a problem with my dad a long time ago where he got pulled over for a speeding ticket. And since then, he has been going to court. He got how could you say it? Accused wrongly of having a speeding ticket. Once he got into the speeding ticket booking, and then once he went to the booking, they just gave me and my mom the announcement that he was in immigration hold in less than 5 minutes. So that was a huge impact on me. I was 11 years old, and since then I was like, no, I'm done with police officers disrespecting me as a little girl, as a Hispanic little girl. So I was like, I have to make a difference. I have to do something. So that's when me and my mom started going into this organization. I started fighting at first for the right of my parents. For back then, for something called DAPA, and it was to give parents the right to have. They had so many years here and that they could get the residency, but unfortunately it wasn't able to pass. But I still kept going, and then DACA came in, and I qualified for it. So I was like, let's go, let's do it. So once I started doing all of my information, I received DACA, and we're here. We're here having to fight for a right that we shouldn't be fighting for, a fight that we earned, each of us as an individual. We're students that are hard workers. We're students that are B students that will put in the hard work, even the extra work, like no matter what. And I feel like we shouldn't be here. Congress should just go ahead and put an answer to this. And the best answer is to pass a DREAM Act.
So you said that was 3 years ago. And
Yes.
You were 11 years old.
Yes.
So now you're a 14-year-old.
Yes. No,
So
this was when I was, what happened to my dad was when I was 11, but now I am 17.
Okay.
So it's been a while. Yeah.
But could I ask? So, as a young woman who was forced to deal with trauma related to her parents and their immigrant status, what did that do to your childhood? Do you feel like it impacted your childhood, and do you think it forced you to grow up faster? And what has that meant for you?
It actually did. It taught me how to be more stronger as a person, as a woman, as a Hispanic female, or like any Hispanic out there, because nowadays this world is full of racism, and that's something that I don't agree with. I think that everyone should love each other equally, no matter male, female. Everyone should be loved and equal. But sadly, we're in a world where there's differences and people agree and disagree with things. But it made me turn into a mature person really fast. I really did get traumatized for a long time. There was a moment where I couldn't sleep at night whenever
Did you get support from your community? And what did that look like?
I've always been blessed to have amazing friends, white, black, Chinese, anything. I've been in an environment where there's amazing people that support me, that support the Dream Act, and that they will come to events like this. But unfortunately, the parents won't let them and stuff. But I've been blessed to have amazing friends that are just great. But there are those, even it's sad to see someone of your own race criticize you for what you're fighting for. Honestly, that's the saddest thing that I've seen. Yes, I've seen other folks try to offend you, but just don't listen to them. But it hurts. It hurts the most whenever it comes from someone from your same background, where their parents are immigrants, but they're not. It's the saddest thing.
I admire your strength. Thank you for talking to me. So that was the story of a young woman from Tennessee who's dealt with the immigration status of her parents for 5 years, as her father was almost removed from the country when she was 11. So 6 years. That is a story that has been repeated probably hundreds of times in probably the 200 to 300 people here. These are people who were promised protection by the Obama administration, and now the new administration just revoked that protection, and so that is why we're here at a candlelight vigil for DACA recipients. So let's hear what is being said in the middle over there.
It was like 12 degrees, and we wanted to make sure that Senator Hassan made the right decision today. And so today, when we were in her office, she actually issued a statement that she will not support a CR unless it has the Dream Act in there. That's her part. So thank you. And now, what do we want? Dream Act! When do we want it? Now! When do we want? Dream Act! When do we want it? Now! All right, thank you, everybody.
Hey, my name is Bilal Askaryar, and I'm with Church World Service. We're an immigration and refugee advocacy organization here in D.C. We're one of the organizers of tonight's Candlelight Vigil.
And so, what led to this? Why are there so many people here right now?
Dreamers have been coming in from across the United States for months, and this is just a culmination of months of advocacy, really years. Tomorrow, Congress is voting on a continuing resolution, and there's a possibility that it will not include a DREAM Act. That's a real matter of urgent moral crisis, because every day that we don't have a DREAM Act, 122 undocumented students from youth from across the United States will lose their status and become at risk for deportation. So if Congress doesn't pass the DREAM Act tomorrow, there will be more and more. There's already 18,000 Dreamers that have lost their status and are at risk for deportation. If they don't pass it tomorrow, there's going to be even more. And if they continue to not pass it by March, 800,000 Dreamers across the United States will become at risk for deportation.
So tomorrow is Friday, January 19th. So could I ask, who are the big targets for tomorrow to actually get DACA into the spending bill?
To be quite honest, there's already, I believe, 34 Republicans, and all of the Democrats are in favor of the DREAM Act. If the House put the bill on the floor today, it would pass. We just had Congresswoman Judy Chu come and say those exact words to us today. So there is bipartisan and bicameral support for the DREAM Act. The only reason that it hasn't come up for a vote is because of congressional inaction. The real targets are Speaker Ryan and Senate Leader McConnell.
And so, how are you guys going to get this done tomorrow? Because it is clearly of necessity. I think you said 800,000 people.
Yes.
So, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah, look behind me. This came together in a matter of hours today. Over 100 Dreamers, allies, immigrant rights activists, national organizations pulled together this incredible candlelight demonstration, and we've been meeting with senators, congresspeople, leaders every day, going into their offices, taking up space, making our voices heard, and we're going to keep doing it until they listen to us.
So could you explain what happens in one of your actions? How do you coordinate it, and then how do you get it done?
In the office or here?
The whole thing. How do you Sure. You plan it and then you go, but what's the deal? How could somebody at home do that?
Sure. The most important thing to do is to make sure that your member of Congress knows that you are in favor of a DREAM Act. So call, go to our website, in fact, go to interfaithimmigration.org and look at the number there that will directly link you up to your member of Congress, and let them know that you want them to vote no on a continuing resolution unless it includes a DREAM Act. Because if they do vote no on if they do vote yes on a continuing resolution without a DREAM Act, they're voting for deportation of undocumented youth in our communities.
And so, could you just go over the numbers again of DACA recipients who will, and what has to happen for them to be left unsecure?
There are 800,000 youth across the United States who were recipients of DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. This was a program that was instituted under the Obama administration. In reality, DACA was a stopgap measure itself. There was not comprehensive immigration reform, but it was a compromise, and we were promised comprehensive immigration reform in the future. So there are 800,000 DACA recipients across the United States, dreamers in Nevada, Montana, the East Coast, West Coast, Hawaii. Not all dreamers are Latino. There are Black undocumented people, Asian undocumented people. We had someone from LA come today. Her name was Christine Park. She came to the United States when she was 10 years old, and she hasn't been to Korea since then. So this is the only country that she knows, and people like her, people like Christine in LA, are losing their documented status every day that we don't have a DREAM Act. So it's a matter of urgent moral need that we get a DREAM Act passed. Otherwise, all 800,000 will lose their status by March 5th.
And so, if it does not go right tomorrow, do you guys have a follow-up plan? And when does that begin?
Right now, we're focusing on making sure that our congresspeople and our senators hear our voices, and they know already that they need to pass this bill today, because tomorrow, because there have already been too many people that have lost their status. If it comes to, unfortunately, after January 19th, then we will continue to escalate our actions. We will continue to make our voices heard, and we will not stop fighting until every single undocumented dreamer in the United States has a pathway to citizenship. We will not stop fighting, and we want to make sure that everyone who is here in the United States feels welcome, because they are the people that makes America great.
And could you just tell my audience the name, the web address for your organization so that they can go there and find you guys?
Yeah, the best website right now is greateras1.org. So greateras1.org.
Great. Thank you, Bilal.
Thank you.
That was a member of a charity for refugee rights. He had a lot of information about the specifics of what is happening, what will happen should Congress choose not to pass this bill tomorrow. But he also seemed to have confidence, and he mentioned that somebody from Congress had given them the impression that if the bill were voted on now, it would pass. So tomorrow's vote is an important vote, and so far everybody I've spoken to has asked you, the listener, to write in, to call in, and let people know that they can't pass this spending bill tomorrow without DACA. Okay, let's get closer. It sounds like they're singing a meditative song, and in such a sad situation, it's a necessary element to add calming and loving. So let's get involved. If you want to sing at home, go ahead.
Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we will win the DREAM Act today. Yay! DREAM Act now!
My name is Brenda Yepes, and I am with United with.
And what are you doing here today?
Today I am here because we are wanting a DREAM Act, and we are wanting a permanent solution for us, for my family, for my community, so we won't get affected of deportation.
Could you show me your hat? I like these hats. Where did you get them, and what do they mean? Could you take it off for a second?
Oh yeah. So, a clean dream act with United with Dream. So this hat means a lot because on November 9th, I don't know how many people came or were here to show the support, but we shut down the Senate, which was great. It's just a message to let them know that we are united here, and we are here to come back and fight every time they decide to cut down what we want, because we deserve to stay here. We have come a full ride from all over the states, as everyone can see here. There's Colorado people, Texas, there's from Washington State. I'm from Washington State, and there's just so much people, so much support that we have. There's allies here as well. So, yeah.
So you came from Washington State. How did you get here?
So United with Dream actually transferred us over here. My older sister's here as well with me, but they flew us out here. It was a long ride. I took a flight at 7, and I landed here at 10 a.m. the next day.
First, when did you decide that you were going to come, and who inspired you? Who asked you to come?
Well, first of all, I'm involved with the Dreamers Club at WSU Tri-Cities, and also I was just inspired by the Young Democrats, which they have done a lot for me. It's another organization at Washington, and then as well, I just seen the offices that they've been going to and taking overs, and I just thought it would be great to come out here and support. During the flight, I was very, very nervous because I'm coming here not knowing what to expect. All I want is a dream act, and coming here thinking about the rallies we were going to do and the protests that we were going to be making, I was afraid. I was honestly afraid that if anything went wrong, that I would get deported or, get arrested. But thank God that United with Dream has our back and we have theirs. So I am very glad to actually be here.
When's the first time you heard the term direct action, and how did you feel about direct action before you did it?
So when I first arrived here at the age of 8, I wasn't really aware of anything that was happening. I didn't even know that I needed Social Security to be working here. I was just very afraid. I knew I was coming to the United States for a better education, a better dream, and that's all I was told. And I don't know, I guess right now I'm just afraid of what will happen, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. I am not so sure. I'm just scared.
But so could you tell me, did you go into an office today?
Yes, I did.
And so what happened in there? What did you guys do inside, and what was the plan to do inside?
So the plan inside was to get a clear message that we want a DREAM Act by the 19th. We wanted to let them know that without us, this isn't a community. We also sent out the message that us, the Dreamers, we're tired. We're really tired of coming back. It is not us that want to be in their offices, but they make us go back because they're not helping us. They're not here to help us, and that's all we want. I know they probably get annoyed of the chants and everything we're doing, but we do not want to be there either, right? We just want to let them know that they can be supportive, that they can be one of the honey badgers leading us on too.
So you said you were nervous on the plane in.
Yes.
Were you nervous before you did the action, and how did you feel after the action?
I did. I was very nervous. I was really nervous before the action. I was thinking, if I get put on the spot about sharing my story, what am I going to say? What is really the message that I want to give? And when I walked into the office, I was shocked. I was like, do I sit down? Do I stand up? What do I do? As soon as I felt how powerful we were, as soon as we felt that when we started chanting, that's when I felt the support from everyone, everyone in that room. I felt so comfortable being there, and I really felt so powerful to actually speak up and just get loud.
And so if somebody, what would you like people who are listening who want to support you to do? What's the best thing that they can do?
I would like to tell them to come out and support. If they are here in Washington, D.C., to come out and support. If not, they can also contact and call the Congress and let them know, that we need a DREAM Act. They can also even rally or go and talk to their congressman there. So all we really want to do is have a clear saying that we do want a DREAM Act that won't be affected, that won't affect our families or ourselves.
We just got a message from Crystal Bennett. She said it's sad that she has to be afraid to be deported because she wants to stand up for what she believes.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is. I am afraid. Also, not only because I am a DACA recipient, but also because I'm afraid that if DACA doesn't pass or the DREAM Act doesn't pass, I'm afraid that I have an expiration date, right? So mine ends 2019, and I'm a student at Washington State University, which I graduate on 2020. So I'm scared that after that, I won't have any resources to go to, or I won't have, I took all this time to actually study, to put my work into, for it to not be worth it at the end, that I won't have a chance to actually go into what I want.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. This has been Reese Baker. I have been here at the Capitol building speaking mostly to DACA recipients and people who will be affected by this decision tomorrow. There was a rally here. They called it a Candlelight Vigil in front of the White House for DACA. So tomorrow is the 19th. And it is the last day that they have to pass this spending bill to keep government open. And so this whole crowd has been here, these people have been here for days, sitting in the offices of Congress people, just visiting the offices of Congress people respectfully and with appointments sometimes, I'm sure. But going there just to say, treat us like humans, treat us as your country promised it would treat us, as it would treat us under Barack Obama. So there is a situation gearing up in the Capitol right now where 800,000 young DACA recipients, and I'm going to call them Americans, are at risk for not only their security within this country, but if you know the if you know the politics of Latin America, if you know how the drug trade has torn the southern continent up, just so that we could get drugs up here to North America, how we've seen governments turn and cartels take over. People are murdered in the street. Businesses are extorted. So, if you ask me, there is a great argument for calling many DACA recipients refugees, which DACA does not even go far enough in protecting the Americans who need protecting. So, I think right now from what I've heard from the people here, the least that our listeners can do is to call up their senator and be in solidarity with the 800,000 DACA recipients who stand to lose their hold in this country, to be removed to a country that many of them have never lived in, and that might be their death in the end, that might lead them into a life of crime, that will seriously hinder their abilities to become the best people that they can be. And it's all happening as a betrayal as Congress made a decision under Barack Obama, and then the Republican Congress decided not to hold to the decision. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all again. This has been Reese Baker. Have a great night, and solidarity with DACA.